Welcome to Mainframe.
Mainframe is a multi-dimensional show that has lights and sound in a 360 degree, or as close as we could, 360 degree pattern. The idea is, I feel like, at least creatively, a lot of bands use lighting, use sound, obviously, in their performances, but don't really think about how we hear things very naturally in, you know, just the real world. We hear things from all sides. Our ears are very used to that. So trying to create an environment that encompasses that is really the goal. And yeah, it was also a lot of fun to do with friends and just a great project to work on. This is Mainframe. There's over 37 different light fixtures in the room. Everything ranging from can lights that provided some washes and scenes to obviously these LEDs that are hung across the room and behind you as well. Then there's also 14 different LCD displays. You think your old desktop Dell computer, 4x3, really old. I'm pleasured to know a guy who owns A1 Assets or Refresh Computers here in Orlando, and they were able to basically let me take those out of overstock in their warehouse, so that was really dope. Then we have a bigger TV, obviously, and that's actually pretty cool because that's running an entire visualizer. I don't know what it's on, it's just random right now, but that runs a visualizer throughout the show, listening to what the speakers are hearing as well. So while you're in the room, that's live interpreting the data, and then obviously there's prearranged things on the bottom. And then the other thing I wanted to do was, in the initial design of Mainframe, was to have the band inside. I wanted to be able to show creatively the mix between you know, real instruments and virtual instruments, and somehow make that into one. You know, obviously the lights and everything are very virtualized, very computer driven, but all the people I'm friends with are band guys or jazz guys, and they're very improv, they're very in the moment, and I wanted to somehow mold those into something that was really, really unique. So we actually have a live video feed that appears on half of these displays and is pumped in from the house. So it's pretty fun. There's 11 people working on it. About 8 of those have been, I would just call, core team that have been here throughout the process. The biggest person in that has been Curtis Seligson, who's been writing and working with the band the entire time so that I could work with the tech crew on getting this room set up, because it's just my garage. So you know, it took a lot of work to get this room set up too. And just being able to work those two and then combine it in, and really it's been an idea for a long time, it's been a talk for a long time, but the guts of the entire show and music was pretty much done in 2 weeks.
The music for Mainframe spanned a lot of different genres, and the only tying factor was we tried to keep all of the music electronically influenced, as it switched from genre to genre, kind of emulating the fact that a computer was participating as an artist to create the music as well. We have an Ableton file that runs a lot of the tracks, as well as processes the live band through it, where we were able to run things like repeater plugins to make the band glitch out with the lights and the video feed in order to emulate how the virus is affecting Mainframe. We also were able to globally record it all so we could produce it, and we're going to also release a soundtrack with the music that was written. One of the coolest things was, especially for me and my writing team and all the musicians, they were introduced to an environment that they weren't used to before, and as well as I hadn't really done something as big as this before, or really played this type of role in a project, and it was nice to be able to step forward and do that. I think a lot of people had that opportunity here, and we also all kind of believe that there's an involvement of technology and music in this day and age that really, you know, shouldn't be frowned upon or looked at as being a cheating way, even though we have plenty of examples of DJs who just press play, and we wanted to kind of be true to that with this project. We certainly had pre-recorded backing tracks because the computer is part of it, but we also wanted to open it up, and we were manually cueing everything, so we were able to adapt as musicians, and the show was different every single time because of that.
the goal for me is that I think a lot of people, and myself included, have had struggles with bands that try to use a click track, try to use, pre-designed things throughout the songs, and a lot of times they didn't either practice with it enough, it really wasn't executed well at all, by local bands. And I really wanted to, even bands I've been a part of, and I really wanted to demonstrate the fact that these computers can be pulled off really well. There can be a high level of synchronicity between computers all talking to each other on the same network. I mean, we have 6 iPads that are all doing something in the show, whether it's sending video back and forth, there's a video feed into the house, a video feed out of the house. All of that is all being run on iPads, MacBooks, and PCs, all alike. They're all talking to each other, they're all working together. Just like a band works together when they come together to write music. Eventually, like to see it done in something more like a theater or a rep theater, something like that, where there's a band area as well as a stage, so that the band's a little bit more present in the room, but also still very much not the focus of the show. In this particular version of Mainframe, you meet a computerized artist, and through the course of the show, she's experiencing these glitches. Things are kind of happening weirdly, things are beat repeating, and it's not going right. And she decides she needs to take a reboot and just kind of settle down. So she settles down, she restarts, and then has to go actually and fight the virus, some audience participation. And although it's kind of hard in a display like this to get audience participation, so you have no human hype man. So it's hard to get that room involvement. But I hope one day when people appreciate it a little bit more, I want to continue to develop the stories and make them more and more complex and have actual visuals of what the computer looks like and that kind of thing, this was more of just a window into this is Mainframe and this is the concept.